Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to another episode of Community Livestream. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. I am the ServiceNow guy with the red bow tie. And it is Friday, April 6, 2018. I am so glad to see you here today. Thank you for joining me. I am going to just do one quick refresh to make sure that the streams are up and running and that we don't have any technical issues, because the technology is out to get me today. Just before the show started, I went to lay the iPad carefully on the mixer and I had bumped the solo button on an empty channel. And if you don't know what the solo button is, that's the one that says, don't listen to any other channels, just listen to me. Only there was nothing on that channel. I don't have anything plugged in. And it was, of course, hidden behind the iPad. I said, did I bump a button? Sure enough, I did. Otherwise, I would have seen comments from you nice people that have joined me here today saying, I can't hear you, I can't hear you. So we took care of that. It's just going to be one of those threatening days. I have today, my job is to go through the community and find all the good stuff that I can to help you and others get their answers to ServiceNow questions and issues. If you've got a question, go over and post it in community.servicenow.com. Make sure you post it in the right forum. If it's related to your personal developer instance, which I will talk about in just a moment, put it in the instance help section. If you're not sure, do a look in the menu where it says communities right about here in the upper left, and it will show you all the communities that you can join. Mine is being a little slow because, that browser window wasn't selected. It does that. And at the bottom it says all forums if you're not sure, if you don't see what you see there. If it's a developer-related question related to scripting or integrations or something of that nature, go ahead and put that in there. If you want to give me a shout out on the channel, I see a number of you are watching live. Thank you for joining me. Give me a shout in the YouTube channel. Say hi. I love seeing where people are from. We've kind of got this regular breakfast club. At least it's breakfast time for me. We'll see some familiar names, and if you're just joining us for the first time, love to say hi to you as well. Let me know what the weather's like and where you're from. Just gives us a little mental pin we can put on the map. That'd be a lot of fun. I also want to encourage you to go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. You know the usual routine that all the YouTubers ask you to do. You put the like on there, you subscribe, you'll get the notifications when we go live. When there's other content, there is a lot of other content. I'm just blown away this week at how much content has gone on this channel. And it's not my channel. I'm just a contributor. They were kind enough to give me the login and password so that I could do this live stream and a couple other things. Also want to remind you this afternoon is live coding happy hour, part of the developer program that I participate in. You can find out more at developer.servicenow.com or go over to the developer YouTube channel at the URL you see there up at the top, ServiceNow Dev Program. And you'll get alerts on that. Subscribe to that channel. If you're more of a developer slant person and you're watching this, I suspect you are, you can go get the notifications on that. We are building we're continuing last week. You can see right there from March 30th that we did a custom action. I have to stop saying activity. That's the workflow word. Action is the flow designer word. We're building a custom action for Flow Designer and Integration Hub. We started this last week. We got most of the way through, ran into a couple of quirks. Not really sure what we're going to accomplish here. We're trying to get a conditional set of records to trigger REST APIs. I've done this through script. I said this would be a really good experiment to try through Flow Designer. So we're going to continue that discussion, Dave Slusher and I, at 4:30 Eastern Time. I know it's a little late in the UK, but if you're willing to stay up and get some extra education, or you can watch it later again. The developer site is also the place let me get that up here, for you to grab a free personal developer instance, either running Istanbul, Jakarta, or Kingston, as you watch this today. Obviously, if you're watching this in a year, it's probably going to be Madrid, London, and Kingston. So we move N-2, would that be, through the personal developer instances as time goes by. You are perfectly welcome to grab an Istanbul instance and upgrade it to Kingston if that's your preference. You want to go through the upgrade experience, see what happens, you can do that. You want to wipe the instance out completely and start over, you can do that. You want to turn on plugins that would normally have a fee associated with them, you can do that. The catch is these are temporary instances, so if you don't use them for about 10 days, they get reclaimed. If you don't use them for about a day, they go to sleep. So it's not a production instance. This is a very sandbox type of thing, but a very good learning environment for you to do at zero cost. Experiment for your organization at zero cost. Also check out the events that are on the developer site. There are developer meetups all over the world. I believe we're up to 38 chapters around the globe. There was one in Phoenix last week. It was a whole lot of fun. We're planning others. Sometimes there's agendas planned. Some, like London, have every other meeting is a pub meeting. They just go out and talk about whatever. It's more of a social event, and that's the way they like to run it. We try to do that once a year here in Phoenix. There are others, and you are welcome to join. Good morning, Carolyn. No notice for video this morning. Huh. Interesting. And my watch just turned off for whatever reason. Never does that unless it's out of battery, and I know it's fully charged. Good morning, Chad from Atlanta. Can't wait for Knowledge 18. I am also looking forward to Knowledge 18. I will talk about that in just a little bit. Should have mentioned that we also simulcast this on Twitch. If you're watching there, thank you very much. Maybe you can get Twitch at work. Maybe you can't. Maybe you like to watch on the bus on the way to work. Whatever your preference is, we've got you covered. We're simulcasting this on YouTube and Twitch. The only difference is Twitch is only sticking around for about 2 weeks. I don't know if we're paying the premium package there, and there are some ads. I am not seeing the Twitch video stream. It says there are 2 people watching. I'm just going to do a quick refresh in that, make sure that things are live. It says live, and I should see my confused face coming up pretty soon. There it is. Excuse me. Little rough this morning. We went on, a couple of us, our developer meetup organizer, put that away, our organizer for the developer meetup, and you can find out more about those on the developer site under events. We have that there. We also have a bit.ly link. I'll have to get that for you for all the developer meetups. But if you go to meetup.com and look for ServiceNow developers, you'll find something there. We're thinking about a social meetup right after Knowledge to sort of plan what we want to do for the other meetups. So Mike Stockman, our local organizer, got this wonderful idea to get a couple of us together after the Snug meeting, which was just yesterday. The Arizona Snug meeting was in Phoenix yesterday. A wonderful meetup, lots of good content, largely by by customers. It wasn't ServiceNow. We talked about agent intelligence that came out of Kingston, and that was it. And when I say we, I don't mean me. I mean 2 of the wonderful SCs, Kevin Kinnaman and Tim Gibbs, that are our regional solution consultants. Anyway, last night, Mike Stockman, his wife, my wife, and I, and Forrest, another wonderful gentleman who works alongside Mike, went out to a brewery, a microbrew called OHSO. And it stands for something. I can't remember what it stands for. But we made 50 gallons of porter, and we got to name it. And we called it the Source Code Porter. And Source Code Porter will be ready to tap on May 14th. So that's sort of the precursor to our social event next month. So you can have fun with these developer meetups. It's not strictly business. We do what developers do. We drink, we talk shop, we hang out, and that's kind of what inspired by live coding happy hour as well. So be creative with it, have fun. We've got Harsh on the line. Good to see you this morning. Jay is back. Ashley, good morning from London. Wow. Hope you had a wonderful day over there, or having a wonderful day. It is, what, about 1:10 p.m. BST? I think you switched to BST. I think you're back to 7 hours ahead of me. Spring ahead, fall back. Everybody sprung ahead. No, now it's 2:10, I think. Anyway, crazy time zones. When I'm emperor of the world, there will be no time zones. Good morning, everybody. We've got, wow, Troy from Australia. It is late on a Friday? Is it still Friday? Yeah. I'm losing track. It'll be Saturday for him soon. We are headed, my family and I are headed to London, Paris, and Rome next month. If you're interested in a potential meetup, can't guarantee anything, but we will be there for 3 days each. Love to see you there. All right, let's get started. Enough of the chit-chat. I appreciate everybody sticking through that. and the intros. I always like to get that for the newbies, get people going. Let's go into the community. And as I like to start out, this isn't everybody's way to do this. I like to start out with the unreplied messages. Let's find out what's new. Good morning, Mr. TV from Fort Lauderdale in Florida. We have quite a few Florida people. It is Friday, TGIF, everyone. Hey, if you didn't notice, this show got a little write-up in the developer newsletter. If you didn't get that, you can go to developer.servicenow.com or send me an email. I'll forward you a copy, and you can get on the mailing list as well. A nice developer newsletter. It had a lot of good content in there, including the style guide, styleguide.servicenow.com, which is more than just a style guide. It can really help you out. If you want to have fun checking that out while I'm looking for new articles. Chart report giving error unsupported report type list with chart on form custom table. Let's take a look at that. I don't do much with custom charts, but I'm curious. ServiceNow integration with AWS. Let's look at that. That sounds more like an ITOM thing, but we'll see. Looking for running partners. Knowledge conference. Okay, here's something cool I hadn't thought of before. They're using the community as a social forum for somebody. When you go to Knowledge, it's not just, hey, let's meet up with all the people from Florida, or let's meet up with all the people from London. It's they're saying, hey, let's meet up with other people who want to go running. I applaud this. I really do. I am an occasional runner by necessity, and this is not one of the times in my life when I have a necessity to run, but that is really cool. That's really, really cool. Slack token disabled after source control with GitHub. Let's take a look. That sounds like an OAuth thing. I like to take looks at these. I can't answer all of them. My specialty is in custom applications and integrations. My knowledge is mainly on the platform. So when some of these things go in a little deep into some of the specific applications, that's where I have to back out for the subject matter experts. Apologies for bonking the microphone like that. Good morning, Christopher from Jacksonville, Florida. Good to hear from you. Again, Florida. Cool. How to hide a dashboard option for report sharing. ServiceNow integration for Hyper-V, ESX, and NetApp by using REST API or JDBC. Whew. I didn't know NetApp offered a REST API. I don't know that it does. Amazon AWS config. Let's see what's here. iframe. These are really specific this morning. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Let's show some more. I'm just opening up some tabs. Give me some things to dig into and look at. Script is not working. 4 hours ago, 25 people looked at it. That's a bit frightening. Let's see what we can do. Scheduled script execution, run as time zone and run as user field not working. I need help in Angular. I need help in Arduino. We all need help in something, don't we? ATF ordinary catalog item. I believe catalog support is either coming in, I think it's coming in London. I don't think it's available yet. Please advise how trigger test automation from Git commits. How trigger test automation from Git commits. I'm going to read that one because the subject isn't making any sense to me at this point. We are getting into things that were posted hours and hours ago. How to integrate call any catalog item over the search of a third-party application. Helps if I can understand the subject. I'll be more inclined to dig into this. Passing username as a parameter in custom JDBC orchestration activity. I might be able to help with that, actually. When user created report incident state selected by him details not appeared correctly. Okay, I have a lot of tabs open. Let's start on some of these. Here's my first one. Passing username. Looks like I'm going in reverse order today. Hi all. Scenario. We have a scenario where a user orders a catalog item and this would result in updating a remote record in an external database table. Solution. We have created a custom JDBC activity to connect a database and then run an update statement to update records in a table. After update at the database level, the records are updated under the username which we have used in the credentials for JDBC activity. This username is different than the requester who submitted the catalog request. The challenge We want the requester's name to be updated in the external database instead of the user ID, which we used for initial JDBC connection. We used for the initial JDBC. Okay, so the JDBC connection is being used by credentials that are static, and that's typical for an integration. You often have a service account. You don't say, Chuck can connect to this database. You say, this ServiceNow service account can connect to the database. So all transactions are done through that account, which has been vetted and validated and gets what it gets. We want the requester's name to be updated in the external database instead of the user ID in the credentials, which we use for the initial JDBC connection. I understand that we need to use a different set of credentials for each user to update a database record under his or her name. That would be a pain to maintain. However, here the idea is to have a single credential with which to we shall update the database with different usernames depending upon, yeah, no, that's kind of ugly. 17 people looked at this. I am going to make a comment on this. Currently, credentials don't support, don't support, you kind of got to get the keyword in there, support variables substitution. I like the idea. I'm going to put in the link for the enhancement request. They want to, if they consider that a valid use case, our product managers will consider it. As a workaround, you could add another updated by field in the database and pass that as a parameter to your custom JDBC query, such that the database update officially says that the update was made by your service account, which keeps things secure. Nice and tidy, easy to audit, easier to audit than N accounts, and you still get the information in another column. Column. Oh, the fingers are conspiring against me this morning. You get the information in another column to determine who really made the update. I am assuming, a dangerous thing I know, that you have the database ID of the person somewhere in ServiceNow. E.g., Chuck.Tomasi in ServiceNow would make sense as Chuck.Tomasi in your database. And not, if I need access to the database as C. Tomasi, that would need to be stored somewhere in ServiceNow. Consistency, normalization, whatever you want to call it. You got to have that. So the credentials are going to be the credentials. If I log into this JDBC connection as jdbc.service, we'll call it, just to be very bland, boring. I don't make up good variable names and I don't make up good sample data. It's one of the toughest things about programming, right? That establishes the connection, but there's no reason why you couldn't pass along Chuck did this update, or Craig did this update, or Dave did this update, or Fred did this update in another column, and then keep track of it that way. It doesn't have to be the connection unless there's a security method, a security means behind it, and your database says Chuck only has access to these records. The service account has access to all the records, but I'm no DBA. I don't know that much about how you secure databases against somebody doing a query. I usually just have one account that says, look, that account has access to interact with my database. I'm going to secure it at the application level. All right, that was fun. Probably not the answer, but it was a thought. And that's how we get things going. Jay says, no dictation app running this morning. It is running. I just, for whatever, slipped into retro mode and used my fingers. Because I needed to think. What I find with the dictation is it gets about 2 lines in and stops for whatever reason. I don't know if it's just tired or I paused. I can think and type at about the same speed. When I try to articulate an intelligent sentence into the dictation, it doesn't work all that well. I have to stop and say period. I want a comma here. So it's still an experiment. I'm not throwing the idea out yet. Good morning, Nitin from Bangalore. We are reaching around the globe. We've got Australia. We got India. We've got Florida. This is a lot of fun. You guys are awesome. It's no longer a breakfast club. We need a name for this group. Please advise how to trigger test automation for Git commits. This method has been used a long time by software developers, continuous integration, and would be very useful also on ServiceNow. In practice, the idea is to run the specific test suite whenever there is a new commit on a specific repository. The idea is to run a specific test suite whenever there's a new commit on a repository. We don't have this yet, but I know it's being looked at. The whole continuous, the CDCI thing is under review. We don't currently have anything like this. All right, let's try the dictation. We'll see if the dawn chorus outside, which is currently being interrupted by our waste management people, will help. We currently do not have this in the platform, comma. What was that? The dictation didn't even start. Let's see what comes out. We currently do not have this in the platform by default, period. See, I paused to think about what my next sentence is, and then the dictation stops. Why don't I just click it again? Okay, I gotta read up on how to run this. It's now stuck. The platform team is currently looking at more features for our CI/CD roadmap. And what was the other one? DevOps is big right now. I'm going to give them... Here, get out of the way, you little crazy thing. I can't see what I'm typing. There. Harsh in the chat room is funny. Our group name is Performance of Shoes. If you were watching, I think it was yesterday or Wednesday, I was doing dictation and I said performance issues, and the dictation turned it into Performance of Shoes. That was funny. You get award points for making me laugh. That's good. All right, well, testing order catalog item, I'm following the below steps. Impersonate, open catalog item, set variable values, order now. If I'm using the impersonate user's role of catalog admin or admin, then only RITM is getting generated. While trying for the other roles, like ITIL, it shows the error. I am not able to figure out why this issue is occurring. I don't believe catalog is supported in ATF right now. Okay. What version of service... All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. I clicked twice. What version of ServiceNow are you currently using? Question mark. ATF does not currently support catalog, comma, I believe that's coming in London, period. Hey, that worked pretty well. We just need to fix the service now. That was one of the better ones. Helps if I think about it beforehand. Keep it short, maybe that's a trick. Scheduled script execution, run as TZ and run as user field not working. Let's read up on this one. I have a scheduled script execution record, and when the scheduled script is executed, it prints a log statement saying that it ran for testing. Okay, so my system time is Europe/London. All right. And when I add run as TZ field to the form, it's not shown by default, and set it to Asia/Kolkata, which is +530, or Europe/Amsterdam, which is +1, and set the next script execution time to 1 minute from now, it will still print the log statement. I expected it not to print a log statement when the time arrives, but it prints the log statement each time, despite putting different time zones. I have tried it in the global and scoped, and they both have the same result. I have even tried the user run as user field. When I created test users whose time zones were in those mentioned above, but the same result occurred, ignored the fields and printed the log anyway. Can anyone tell me why it's not working, please? Run as time zones. So the idea is, if you're in a scheduled job and you want it to run at 1 a.m. London time, then it would run at 1 a.m. London time. But he's saying it's running immediately, or whatever time he puts in there. If he just wants to offset it by an hour or 5 hours, that is a very good question. I do not have an answer, but I would recommend reaching out to support to understand that better and getting back to us. Well, you know what? Let's just subscribe to that and see if anybody comments on it. Sometimes support does get in here. I'm going to subscribe to that question. It's the old follow feature from the old community, if you remember that. You could follow a thread. I am subscribing to this thread so that if anything else comes up, it's going to be in my inbox. Script is not working. We need to create one clear cart button on the service portal cart page, but when I submit button, no action is performed. I am sure someone will help me with this. Thanks in advance. The code is button class ngClick c.clearCart. So ngClick this is an AngularJS thing, so it's a service portal thing. They give it a font awesome trash can. Client script c.clearCart. I'd have to look at an example of mine. Let's do modal confirm. Does the modal appear? That's the first question. And then they do a root scope broadcast sp service catalog cart.update. I'm not able to read too much into this. And then when they get to the update, they do a cart.clearCart. But how is the server script being recalled? c.server.get, then, wouldn't it be a c.server submit? I'm not familiar with the get function. I'm no service portal expert. Let's try that. Dictation. I'm no service portal expert, comma, but wouldn't you want to use c.server.update instead of c.server.get? Question mark? That's nice. C. Is that the California Department of Transportation? There we are. Let's put parentheses in there too, so they look like actual script. Good, good, good. Might not be the right answer, but we're going to learn something in the process, and that's half the fun today. Good morning, Steve. Amazon AWS. I need to implement my CMDB with AWS. I don't have no idea. How can I do this? Cloud management? Let's go to not that one. Cloud management would be a really good way to do it. Let's get the link for that. Ooh, that font's a little big for the doc site to figure out. With ServiceNow Cloud Management Application, you can use a single ServiceNow interface to access cloud resources, publish cloud offerings to catalog, and manage the usage of those resources. I would do your discovery as well, if I remember right. Put that in there. Have you looked at cloud management? And link to that. Paste away. New window. Okay. Reply. Hit the bell. That's an easy one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It is now 1/2 the hour. Wow. I'm not even through my unreplied new stuff yet. Let's do a couple more. Slack token disabled after source control with GitHub. I have saved a Slack developer token in a system property. I don't think I've ever used a Slack developer token, but let's find out what we can find out about this. ServiceNow integration was working smoothly as messages were sent and received between ServiceNow and Slack. After committing the code to Git, Slack sent an email that developer token has been deactivated and integration stopped working. Just to the email from Slack, token has been posted publicly on the internet. To keep Slack workspace secure, a precautionary step is taken to permanently disable. Wow! Are there guidelines available from a ServiceNow custom app that involves storing a developer token along with source control? If storing a developer token in a system property exposes it to public internet during source control, in what other way can token be used in coding? It's a bit like storing a password. I wouldn't do that because you'll expose yourself. Best idea that I can think of would be to store the property but leave the value blank. And then, oh, because every time you do a commit, though, it's going to recognize the property is changed and commit. It's time to test the morning tea. That's intriguing. That's intriguing. Let me give that more thought. I'm going to subscribe to that and see what comes back to that. The crux of the issue is they've written a custom application or integration and put their token into a property, and then when they commit this to Git, it recognized it somehow and said, you know what? You're publicizing some, basically your authentication, your token. So if anybody downloads this, they're going to get into your account. So let me, you know what? I'm going to respond to this. I can clearly see the issue here. Period. I applaud GitHub for recognizing and flagging this! Exclamation point. My recommendation would be to remove the value of that property before committing to avoid the security infraction. Period. All right. They didn't quite spell infraction correctly, but that'll work. Or threat is probably a better word. You don't want to publicize your token, comma, that would be giving away your credentials, period. Let's see what they come back with. I suspect it's going to be, well, how do I store this thing? That's an interesting problem. I gotta think about that one a little harder, about what you could do to use that property, use the token, not store it as a property. Store it as data in a table would be a better idea. Well, we'll see what comes back from that one. I'll keep you up to date on Monday what happens. Yeah, there's a reason why we have a credentials table and not credentials property. That's it. Even email accounts are no longer properties. The POP3 and SMTP on your instance uses data from a table. And you know, if we need to configure those or change those, if you're writing an application that involves credentials, I encourage you to create a credentials table, even if it only has one record with one field, that keeps you more secure. You could, another option would be to create your own application preferences, which would be like properties. The downside of that is they're not as efficient as properties, because properties are cached. So that if your application is running all the time and it's referencing these properties, you don't have to do glide record lookup to get them. They're cached. They'll work faster. So it really depends on how often you use those. If you're doing this Git integration once a day, not an issue. If you're using it 10 times a second, yeah, that's an issue. Okay, ServiceNow integration with AWS. I have a requirement where I need to perform some action with AWS side on click of submit button in ServiceNow. Has anyone integrated AWS with it? Could you please provide information on it? Go with the below link. It might help. There is a link on ServiceNow.com with AWS Now Brief PDF. Wow, that's very helpful. Docs to Amazon Web Services and YouTube video. That is a pretty complete package. I applaud thee. That is a nice response. Okay, custom charts. I haven't done much with custom charts. Chart report giving error. Unsupported report type list with the chart on the form custom table. I'm trying to get a chart report on timer field on a custom table. The report could be shown on reports, but not on the form. The report could be shown, you mean the field could be shown on reports, but not on the form. My requirement, to show the timer field value in single score or any of which is supported report type for each record dynamically on form. I think I followed configure charts on forms, but unfortunately I'm not able to show one. I'm getting an error. Need a little more information on what's going on here. I'm not quite following what's... I understand what in-form charts are and do, but I'm not sure what the requirement is behind this. Alrighty, let's do a quick refresh, see if there's any responses to the earlier information. While I'm doing that, I want to remind you that Knowledge 16, how about 18? I was looking at Knowledge pictures last night, going way, way back. Knowledge 18 is right around the corner. I believe we have, what, 30 days left now? I'm going to pull up the phone and check. It is May 7th through 10th at the Venetian in Las Vegas. I want to see you there. We are going to be having fun with about... Let's try unlocking with my fingerprint. With about 18,000 of our closest friends. Don't forget to check the checkbox that says CreatorCon. It is 30 days away, kids. 30 days away. 1 month, and I still have a lot of work to do. Fortunately, I'm getting ahead of the work that I had to do last week. 30 days to go. Will there be more sessions about JSON and Angular? As part of CreatorCon, I believe so. Check the scheduler. I know that the scheduler is posted up at I think it's www.servicenow.events.com. Check that and see if you can find what you're looking for in the scheduler to find JSON and Angular. Or look for Service Portal or widgets or something of that nature. It may not be on Angular. They are full as of now. All of those sessions filled up? Wow, that means we will likely be offering second ones, so check back frequently to see if there's a second offering on those. I know that this week was the first week that scheduling has been open, and that's insane. I think that's just amazing that it filled up that fast. I wish I ran a workshop that had sessions fill up that fast. I really do. What more to say about that? Go over to knowledge.servicenow.com. Get signed up, check the checkbox for CreatorCon so that you get that deeper knowledge around JSON, Angular, that kind of stuff. I will be in the Developer Theater. I'll be around the Developer Hub all 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Might be moseying around the pre-con training. Keep an eye out for me there. I will be showing up a little early. And I am not doing pre-con training this year, so I'll have some time on my hands, and that could mean potential meetup. So if you want to meet up, send me a message. I'd love to meet you. That's probably the easiest part of my whole week, and then the insanity starts Monday night. I would think you would fill right away. Yep, that's going to fill. So back to the main screen. I am in my inbox. How to access catalog variable. I don't remember which one this went with. This is a reply, from 2 years ago. Hot dang. But 8 minutes ago, we're able to access catalog variables through the REST API. There is, I don't think at the time of this writing that the catalog API existed. Let me bring up the REST API Explorer. REST API Explorer is a wonderful tool if you're not familiar with it. We will be covering it on Tech Now on April 26th. We're going to be giving a run through of this. It's a very wonderful tool for building integrations, usually from third-party applications or to third-party applications. So you know what the endpoint is. Say, hey, I want to get this information from a table. We can use the table API. We also have several other APIs. Ooh, this list gets bigger every day, including the, where is it? Was it the catalog? There is a catalog. Let's go. Agent Intelligence, which is new to Kingston. Agent Schedule Aggregate Attachment. CMDB, Calendar, Change Request, Contextual Search, Email, Global, Guided Tour, Guided Setup. There's a Guided Setup API. Interesting. Internal only, I guess. Identification Import. Where is it? I could have sworn we had a catalog API. Am I blind? Am I not seeing it? Somebody else see it? It's early in the morning. My eyes may not be what they used to. That's why I was kind of reading them out loud. And I'm not an idiot. I'm just trying to help my tired old brain. UI impersonation service. All right. Well, let's look in the docs. See what we have. REST catalog API. I didn't see it. Service catalog API for a list of general headers using REST API, supported REST APIs for general headers, server reference API. Let's look at this. Sounds promising. There. See, API SN_SC. Why didn't it show up in my dropdown on the REST API Explorer? Well, let's find out. Let's see what it says about variables. I'm going to make this a little smaller because it looks like my browser is having an issue when the font gets too large, which is interesting because there's less on the screen. Okay, find variables. Items, variables, object consisting of all the variable names. Yes, we can do this. And there's a lot more down here. 76 mentions of variables. Items, variables in the XML. Variables, list of all the variables in the catalog item. I think we have success. Okay, that was my REST API Explorer for my demo instance. Let's reply back to Snowtech. Take a look at the API reference in the docs. We'll put a link on there. You know how hard it is naming a beer? With a geeky term. Of course, once we thought up and settled on source code porter that we made last night, came up with a whole bunch of other ideas. Should have written them down. But maybe we'll do that while we're drinking. We'll have another brainstorming session on what we can call the future beer. If we make more. I was thinking like Glide Record Pilsner or something, you know, more ServiceNow slanty. We do have homebrew competitions in San Diego. I don't know if it still exists. We did these for a number of years. And I'd like to find out from some of them what they named their beers, if they were ServiceNow related or they just called them, you know, like cigarette butt stout. I don't know. Can we use a table API to get SCCat item table? Yes, you can use the table API to get to the catalog items. The SCCat item table is the definition of what becomes request items. So if you think of the catalog item table as the blueprint, and then as people order a laptop, The SCCat item contains the description, the picture that's going to be used, what's actually displayed on the catalog. Those are the catalog items. And then when somebody orders it, it turns into a request item under SCREC item. There is some logic in these tables. Not always. All right, I have done a page refresh. Let's see what we get back up here. Let's keep playing in the unreplied. I'm not seeing too much in the inbox, so I'll do a quick refresh on that because the other page said there was one in the inbox, and I just refreshed that page, so there might be one in here for us. Amazon AWS config. This is the one that said I want to. This was an integration question, but I don't remember which one it was. Okay. I need to implement my CMDB with AWS. I suggested cloud management. Chuck, yes, actually. Scroll up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down. Yes, actually, by searching, I found that I should have AWS Cloud Management plugin, and I don't have it. If you know how to get it, tell me how. It is a pay-for-service. Short answer. Short answer, it is a separate product. Short answer, it's a separate product. You will need to reach out to your account team to discuss pricing. One other thing I wanted to check is over on developer.servicenow.com, see if I can limit how many tabs I flip through, is see if maybe there's a cloud management plugin we can turn on. Then they could play with it for free to make sure that it's what they need. Activate plugin. So I went to developer.servicenow.com, clicked on manage on the menu, went to my instance. Many of you are familiar with this. This is for those that are not. On the action button, there's a drop down and I can activate plugins. Some of these plugins, looky there, right at the top of the list. Cloud management. If you want to test it out, woohoo, I have an answer for that. If you want to test it out for free, you can go to your personal developer instance, available at developer.servicenow.com, and activate the cloud management plugin. Let me know if you need more specific instructions than that. Da-da-da-da-da. Hit the reply. Boom. Oh, that was fun. What else can we play with today? Make related list field read-only. This one I suspect already has a response. Let's find out. Coming up to the top of the hour. It is 10 minutes to. Thank you for watching. I hit a key and I'm not sure what I hit and why I hit it and what it did. Hi all, I need to make related list field read-only once approval is approved. Okay. Please help me. I need to make the related list fields read-only once approval is approved. That would be done with security. The trick is going to be that would be done with ACLs. Well, here's a macro I haven't used in a while. You will need to create a write ACL for the appropriate role or condition to only allow write access to the approval record when the approval dot state is approval. Once you change it, change that parent record. Come on, once you change that parent record, the write access goes away. And was it security? Woohoo! Hope those are up-to-date links. Should we test them? Just to make sure. That one worked. Went to Helsinki, but tells you how old my macro is. I'm not in the habit right now of updating my macros every 6 months. Probably be a good idea just to validate them and make sure. Whew. Community thing's getting to be hard work. Whenever the video is done processing, I get a selection of 3 thumbnails, and it's always interesting to see what the thumbnail is that it picked. There are some where I'm like, like, when did I do that during the show? How did it pick that frame out of all the hour-long of content? Fortunately, I don't use those thumbnails. I hit refresh. I just wanted to hit unreplied again. How to show bubble chart. Let's look. Task survey table in survey management. Can I expand the group legend section below a chart? That's performance analytics and reporting. I'm probably not going to jump in there. How to show globe map in ServiceNow and mark places. How to add personalized list columns in data table from instance definition widget. How to add personalized list columns in data table from instance definition widget. That sounds like a service portal question. They want the service portal list to act more like the standard list. Can we send email through SMTP and POP3 account? I'm going to jump into that one real quick, see if we can knock off a few of these easy ones in the end of the hour. Good morning, good morning. Can we send email through POP? We have a scenario where we need to use the standard ServiceNow managed SMTP for outbound email, but certain incident types we want to send through a POP3 account. POP3 is used for incoming. SMTP is outgoing, so already I'm confused. I'm trying to make sense of the documentation stating, note, system only shows one SMTP email account to be active at a time and sends all email through this account. You can, however, receive email through multiple POP3 and IMAP accounts. That is correct. Gives a reference to this. Are we able to create a POP3 email account that can be used in addition to the SMTP account? No. No, they're two different things. High Court. SMTP is used for outbound email. Your instance. I'm just going to make this simple. IMAP and POP3 are inbound protocols. Simple answer. Ta-da. That's why you can have multiple inbound POP3 IMAP, but only one outbound. There's no rules to specify this data goes through SMTP1 and this data goes through SMTP2. I like the idea. I encourage an enhancement request if you think it's important. And let's put one more note in here. You cannot send through an POP3 account. It's just the way the internet was designed. I didn't make up the rules. Wow, that was a throwback. That's what 25 years of web experience will get you. You can know the difference between IMAP and SMTP. We were thinking for the Porter name beer, we were thinking of names that were related to port, like SSH Porter or something. USB Porter, Parallel Porter was another one. When we brew them, because they run these classes at this little microbrew, and they put them up on this paint board, whatever you want to call it. It has the name, it has the tap date, it has the group or the person who brewed it. So we're putting ServiceNow developers up there. So if anybody's walking by and they happen to be a Java developer or ServiceNow developer or some other, they'll go, hey, that's a nerdy beer. I like the name. Maybe they'll look us up. Maybe we'll get somebody hooked into our group by the beer. Port 21 Porter. We had a lot of ideas. None of them seemed to resonate with. We couldn't get consensus among the five of us as to which one. Obviously, Mike had final say because this was his idea and he paid for it. But now I have another pun that I'm going to unleash on Live Coding Happy Hour this afternoon. Last week when we were doing the custom action on Flow Designer and Integration Hub, I got sidetracked and I said, when you go into the menu to pick your action, there's an icon. ServiceNow has the little red circle with NOW on it, and Slack has the little colored hash mark. I said, well, we're creating something for Live Coding Happy Hour. I want an icon. So we put a beer stein icon on there. And as we were testing these things out, we weren't publishing them. We were using them in draft. Live Coding Happy Hour draft. See what I did there? I've got another one later. It has to do with when you're selecting and dragging data, but we'll get to that later. I'm looking to show a bubble chart without XY axis, something like attached image. Okay, without an XY axis, why? Because it's going to be all over the place. Not happening today? That's not a current feature of reporting, but again, it might be another enhancement request. Currently, I'm going to dictate this one. Currently, I don't know of a way to remove the axes from a bubble chart. Period. I like the idea. Period. And macro. Whenever you say that, at C colon. Probably going to spell the thing out. We try, just for fun. At C colon enhancement. Performance on shoes. That's awesome. Jay's a home brewer. How are you going to get your home brew to K18 unless you drive? That is a long drive from Chicago, by the way. Where did the last few minutes go? I just said it was 10-2 and now it's done. All right, that's going to take care of it for today. Let me just, all right, I can't walk away from a potential inbox. I have to have a clean inbox at the end of the show. So it's a psychology thing. Okay. Oh, good. It's a response back on Nathan. I think you said this was yours. Okay. Thanks, Chuck. Looks like storing the token in the table is the only possible solution at this moment. Yes. I neglected to say that. So let me put that in there for the help of the others who might have missed that conversation. Yes. Exclamation point. I had the idea of not storing it as a property, but storing your data in a table and any other preferences that you don't want to store as properties. Period. The advantage to properties is that they are cached, comma, and hence better performance. Period. Data in tables would need to be looked up, period. So based on your use case, comma, you may be better off with properties if this is going to be used very frequently, parenthesis, more than once a minute, unparenthesis. If you're using it once a day or once a week, comma, less frequently, comma, and my dictation went away. Okay, there are a whole bunch of corrections that need to be made in here, but I wanted to make that for the benefit of those reading later. The idea of not, let's make that bold, storing it as a property with storing it. Okay, I don't even know what that I said on that first sentence, but it's not making sense. Okay, I had the idea of not storing it as a property after I wrote this. After I wrote this, and storing your data in a table and any other preferences, any other application properties / preferences that you don't want to store as properties and hence get published and ultimately get pushed to Git. The advantage of to properties is that they are cached, spelled incorrectly, and hence better performance. Data in tables will need to be looked up each time it's used. It's used. So based on your use case, you may be better off with properties if this is going to be used very frequently. That was supposed to be a parenthesis. It got confused. More than once a minute. Or in your table if used less frequently. Frequently, hourly, daily, etc. Okay. On that note, I'm going to sign off. Wish you a very wonderful day. Go have a great, well, some of you already had a great day. You're probably getting ready to go to bed in Australia. Have a good rest. I'm still working on closing this out properly. Go learn something new. Share it with somebody and be helpful. And I look forward to seeing you on Monday's episode of Community Livestream, where I don't know what I'm going to talk about. This is completely unscripted. It's just a whole lot of fun. Take care. Have a good time. Bye.